As the audience gathers at the Lowry in Salford, and behind the curtains all is set for the much-loved Elf the Musical, expectations are at fever pitch.
I'll try it.
Some are already hardcore fans.
I did a really long one before, I remember.
Everyone's looking forward to something magical. So how will the people putting on the show make that happen? It starts with the characters.
I think the characters in Elf are so well defined and so strong.
Oh, go ahead. Why don't you just say it? I'm the worst toy maker in the whole wide world. I'm a cotton-headed ninny-muggins.
Ben Forster, who plays Buddy, has to portray the innocence of someone brought up by elves at the North Pole.
Right, should we do it? Let's go! Go, go, go!
It was quite a hard process. I had to kind of look at what I would feel like if I really had genuinely been brought up in this amazing, magical little place by Santa and the elves, and see how that would influence me as a person.
There is something you should know. He's on the naughty list. No! Buddy.
So it is childlike, but it's real innocence, actually.
Buddy himself stumbles and falls because he's naive and he tells the truth. And on the way, he helps so many people. And he falls in love. And it's that wonderful innocence that the script brings to him.
For those people that don't know, Buddy is a human being that was who was in a children's home and crawled into Santa's sack, and Santa mistakenly took him back to the North Pole, and the elves decided to keep him and raise him as an elf. So until he was 30 years old, he believes that he was an elf.
Santa, well, is it true what they said? Am I a human?
Oh, good question.
Obviously finds out at the very beginning of the show that he's not an elf and that he's a human. And then the sort of journey of the show is him going on this discovery about where he belongs and what life is, really.
And that takes him to New York, where he runs into his true love.
My name's Liz McClarnon, and I play the character of Jovi.
Oh, wow. Oh, she's beautiful.
I love Jovi to bits. I absolutely love her to bits because she is super duper sarcastic.
Hi, I'm Buddy the Elf, and we're gonna have fun together.
Hi, I'm Jovi the Elf, and I seriously doubt it.
She's really quite hard, I think, initially. But the reason is because she's been hurt so much, she just has this massive brick wall up to any man that ever comes up to her.
Oh, wait. Does somebody need a hug?
No? Does somebody need a punch in the throat?
Even the store manager says, oh, she's nuts, which means she's just like, go away to every man who talks to her. But she cannot resist Buddy. She just cannot.
But the reason Buddy is headed to New York is to find his real dad, who has another son and is married.
Mrs. Hobbs?
Jessica Martin plays Emily, Buddy's new stepmother.
I'm married to Mr. Hobbs.
Well, then you're my stepmommy! Does somebody need a hug?
No, thanks.
Emily Hobbs. What can I tell you about Emily Hobbs, who's a very smart, elegant, uptown New York lady? And you see, I'm falling into the accent because I can't help it.
I have a friend who's a psychiatrist. You remember Barry? With the Ferrari? I'm gonna give him a call right now.
I've seen so many of those American women. You still see them. They go into the matinees, you know, in New York. They look exactly the same. They've had that same look for years.
Absolutely. And of course, they can afford to have the hair done on Fifth Avenue every morning, which is why, and Emily is one of those people too, but don't hate her because she's got a warm heart, and that's why I love playing this character.
Buddy is crazy.
Mom!
No, he is. We have to accept that.
But he's my brother.
Emily's son is 12-year-old Michael.
I'm Lachlan and I play Michael Hobbs. Hello, my name is Riley and I also play Michael Hobbs. We are twins, we're 11 years old. I am the older twin and I'm the younger twin. It'd be amazing just to have it on your own, but it's even better when you're sharing the opportunity with someone that you know so well and you love very much.
Hi, darling.
Hi, Dad. He's a young boy, and because his dad, he works a lot, so he never really got to experience a full-on childhood and got a good bond with his dad.
Emily, you know that tonight of all nights, I have to...
He's not going to help us.
Michael, you don't understand.
You don't understand. So he had to grow up quite fast, and he never really saw, like, what other children get to experience with their parents, because he's had to grow up.
Maybe you've got these spinny things on backwards.
I don't know. Dad said he'd help me, but he's not around. Again. And I definitely think, because of Buddy, Michael has the opportunity to relive his childhood and what he wished he could have had.
I am Futon.
Buddy's dad, Walter, played by Joe McGann, takes a lot of persuading to accept him.
No! Oh, I don't care that you're my son. I don't care that you're an elf. I just want you out of my life forever.
It's a gift of a part. I mean, sort of what you really have to do is not so much about getting into character, it's about resisting the magic that's around you. You have to play, it's an opportunity to play the straight man. If you think about it in comedic terms, you are very straight. You don't have to be too grumpy. You just have to be straight when all the tinsel's going on around.
I have a lot of work to do. Please, don't talk.
He's a workaholic. He's so strong in his work, and that's where he can't see anything else.
There's a performance opposite me with such energy and joy and fun coming from Ben Forster that I just have to resist it.
What?
What does a rainbow feel like?
I don't know.
It's doing less than trying to fill my own part. It's just resisting his, and that's what provides the dynamic.
Oh, this is my son. Your son?
Coming up, more great characters and what not to eat before a stage kiss. Elf the Musical is in full swing at one of Britain's most popular theatres, the Lowry in Salford. It's based on a 2003 New Line hit movie, with a script adapted by Bob Martin and Thomas Meehan.
What's wrong with his sons of yours?
Oh, come on! Buddy the Christmas horse?
Sir, I am not a horse.
It's so well written, the play, that if you stick, honestly, it's one of those things, if you stick to the lines, it's there for you.
It's got everything. It's got a wonderful story, a story that isn't based on a classic. It was written very, very specifically and ironically by a Jewish screenwriter. So he wasn't particularly into Christmas as a religious concept, but he was into the concept of what is it about a time of year where you want to bring a family together no matter what.
You want to spend Christmas on the unemployment line?
Oh. I want to spend Christmas with my family.
The story is a very modern story. It's about dysfunctional families, and if you took away all the magic and just told the story as it was, it could be quite believable. It's the skill of the writers in being able to marry very dark, sensitive themes with hilarity, which is what comedy really is about. It's about taking reality, turning it on its head so that we can laugh at some of the very difficult parts of life.
I only tried my best to be everything.
The storyline, I think it really touched me because personally I was adopted myself, and I know that feeling of wanting to find your birth parents, your dad or your mum.
Dad!
It resonates with me when Buddy wants to find his dad, and he wants to be right. He wants his dad to like him. He wants to do anything to make his dad happy.
It's about love for your fellow man and love for your family, and that's why it's universal, and that's why everybody loves it so much.
One actor, Lewis Emerick, plays the best and the worst. Santa and the heartless publisher, Mr. Greenway.
It's weird because Santa, I mean, it was the most daunting because everybody's idea of Santa's different. So playing an icon, as one of my colleagues said to me, so it's, you know, it's how to do that. Do you fit the thing of what every child sees as their Santa? You know, so that was the one that gave me the most sleepless nights.
Well, the recording thingy, it's taped over the footsie match I was going to watch.
Santa Claus is... I wanted to make him sort of real, and I know that sounds crazy, but there's this wonderful, cuddly guy. We see him at first, he's in his braces and socks, and he's trying to watch TV.
Hey, what's the point of having the thing if it won't tape what you want it to tape?
I wanted that image of Santa that we all have and we've all grown up with, but more laid back. And he has this one job each year to deliver the presents. I suppose the bad guy, in a way, is Greenway, who's the gruff boss.
You're weak, Hobbs. I haven't spent Christmas with my family in 30 years. And that's why I'm president of this company.
He's the only one who doesn't redeem himself to us. Everybody else redeems themselves. Everybody except Greenway.
I do like Greenway, I like that. And I like the sort of, you're playing the sort of the good and bad, if you know what I mean, you know, with Santa and Greenway being just interested in money and all like that, you know.
Who sent you?
Santa.
Santa.
Uh-huh.
Hi, I'm Laurie Haley Fox, and I play the character of Deb.
I'm sure Mr. Hobbs will be delighted to meet you.
Deb is Mr. Hobbs' secretary, and she sort of keeps him in check, keeps him organized, but she really has a soft spot for Buddy.
He's 6'2". He is incredibly sweet.
I love playing her. She's just so much fun. And yeah, I mean, laughter is fantastic. I love that I get to play a part that people seem to find fun and funny.
Works for me!
I'm a bit of an oddball at home as well, and a bit quirky and nutty. So I think that's, you know, why I relate to her so much. But I think that she is even maybe a little bit more over the top than I am, maybe. Because I spend so much time with Buddy in the show, I just absolutely love working with Ben and getting to be a part of his journey with him as Deb. And he's just been so lovely to work with.
For the whole first part, up to the interval, Ben as Buddy barely leaves the stage.
It is a huge part. I mean, I think probably the biggest part that I've played, stage time-wise. 8 times a week is hard.
30 seconds or, 5 minutes, whatever, before you go on, you are like, why am I doing this? I feel awful. I feel sick. I've got a headache now. You get so many, feelings. You're just like, I can't do this. I'm not doing it. Can't do it. And you're like, well, obviously you have to do it.
I hurt my back a few weeks ago on stage, and when you're on stage, you can't even feel pain. You just don't feel it. I literally walk off, breathe, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't breathe. And as soon as I'm on stage, you just can't feel it. It's like your body just goes into this subconscious sort of place where you are delivering. It's just your job.
You're on stage for 30 seconds singing your song or saying a line, and you go, oh yeah, this feels so good. This is why I do it. Yeah, I do. And it's this horrendous fear, and then this euphoric sort of moment. No matter what you're doing, you're like, this is awesome.
And also, I know how expensive it is to visit theatre, and I know when I was growing up how hard it was for my parents to take me, and I just think of that every time. I'm like, if I don't feel like it or I feel tired, there's people there that have travelled so far. I had a fan come from China last week for one show, and she travelled back. She just wanted to see it. So, imagine if I was just felt tired or a bit underwhelmed that day. I could never let that go on stage because it would be completely wrong.
With such a relentless schedule on stage, staying fragrant is an issue. Ben gets through a lot of perfume.
Every time I walk on stage, everyone goes, you smell nice. I'm like, it's very expensive. Buddy wouldn't have anything, but that's absolutely not for the audience to smell, just for my co-stars, because it's really easy to smell.
And he's careful what he eats.
Onions, coffee. I mean, anything can make me not want to go in Liz's face. Sometimes I'm like, I'm so sorry. I had a sandwich that I had to bring onions in. And she's like, oh, thanks.
You know what? Sometimes he's tricky. So if he wants something really, really smelly, he'll go, babe, do you want to come for dinner with me? That's his. Like, he made me guacamole the other day, and he piled raw garlic into it and onions, and then he was apologising to everyone, but not to me, because he knew I'd had it, so it's naughty like that.
With Joe, because I'm literally in his face all the time with Joe McGann, who plays my dad, I'm like, Dad, I want to buy you a present, but I don't have any money. What would you prefer? 1,000 butterfly kisses? And I feel like I'm talking like that to, like, not let my bad breath out.
For Liz, nerves can be another challenge, especially before her big number.
Then that's what presents are for. Make it up.
I do get nervous before it starts, but for some reason, because I come on and sing straight away, it takes a lot of the nerves away. But it's very strange for me in the breakup scene that comes straight after my song, because I'm singing quite big notes at the end. You get like this adrenaline rush, and then I have to hold the snow globe, and sometimes you can see that I've still got this adrenaline thing, and I'm holding it. I'm like, because I have to come off stage and go, okay, I'm done with that now. Yeah, I'm done with that. But it's really weird that I'm actually shaking. That's not nerves. That's pure adrenaline from singing the song.
You're asking your 12-year-old son how to write a letter to Santa Claus? What does that say about this family, Mom? For the first time, like, whenever you first do a show, I always get really nervous before I go on stage. But once I've got on that stage, my nerves go out the door, and I'm just so excited to be there. And then from every show on, I just get even more excited. The thing is with me, I'm not a nervous person usually, am I? Like, I'm a very confident person. So when I go on stage, when like I'm preparing, I do get nervous. But once I'm on stage, I feel like I have wings and I can fly.
Elf, the musical, is a dream come true for me. I just feel it's got everything in it that I could want to see in a musical, and everything in the role that I'd want to project in a musical.
Couldn't Santa see what a fantasy he appears to be?
The audience come to the musical to be spellbound by the spirit of Christmas, and at the heart of the magic, the music itself.
You can come into the room, whatever mood you like, but once that band kicks off, it's difficult not to kind of get caught up in it.
Matt Sklar, who wrote the music, is just a stunning guy. I mean, and the music he's written is incredible.
One of the main reasons why musicals are loved is because the music is used to enhance the story, it's used to set an undertone, it's used to make the audience excited, it's used to make the audience scared.
The choices that they've made in writing the music really fit the different characters. You get a sense of Walter, Buddy's dad.
Christmas always gets in the way.
You've got it backwards.
You get a sense of Buddy's playfulness through his song.
And when people see us walking, they'll be Google-eyed and gawking at Buddy and the world's greatest dad.
So I think it's just smart choices in the actual writing.
With this, I mean, it was just so expertly done to pick up on the sort of atmosphere of stupidity and naivety and brilliant sort of human instinct, which this is all about.
When you want to tell a story, you reach an emotion that's too funny or too sad or too exciting, you go into the music.
I don't want a trip to some hip salon or trendy perfume I'll never put on.
It's just incredible, and it's proper in my book, because I regard the traditional Broadway book musical as being the touchstone of mastery in musicals. Well, these songs are all classic.
It's singing that unlocks the spirit of Christmas and makes Santa's sleigh fly.
you think about it, singing music does bring people together across the world. Suddenly, no matter where we're from, we might all be singing that same song that we hear on the radio. And we can all like it, no matter how different our backgrounds are.
It's a big sing for Ben Forster, but he just nails it every night. He absolutely nails it.
That's the story of Buddy the Elf. Singing at any point is lovely, whether I'm sharing a song with Liz or any of them, or just the ensemble, or me and Debs, me and Laurie. It's just lovely to be on stage singing, to be honest.
It's lovely to sing, you know, to sing with someone with such a beautiful voice as well. Every single time we sing the last bit, which is, so I come on and sing, when he goes, somebody, please just somebody sing, and I come on and do the a cappella bit of just sing a Christmas song, he always winks with, like, his upstage eye.
Some Christmas cheer by singing love for all to hear.
So no one can see him, and as like we're halfway through, and then he goes like that. So then we have a little giggle together, and it just adds to the scene. So there's all these little bits that we all do.
Coming up, how technical and artistic wizardry help the magic happen. At the Lowry in Salford, magic is unfolding. On stage, Elf the Musical is in full flow, and behind the scenes, an army of technical magicians are at work.
The thing about this show is that it is everybody makes this happen. You know, it's from the dressers to the sound department to the crew to the cast to the orchestra. There's just such a massive team of people involved. Everybody's got to be the best. Everyone's got to be on top of their game, and no one can make mistakes. There's no room for it, really.
Ho, ho, ho! No, no, no!
The costumes are key to making the magic happen.
I think one of my favourite moments and funniest moments are when the actors in the North Pole come down dressed as elves, and it just looks so ridiculously silly. And I love that. I just think silliness and being able to laugh at ourselves is really important, and the audiences love it.
I just love the way it lands. You know, it's a gimmick that's easy to see, but because of the joy and because of the music that's around it, it works every time.
I belong in Christmas town. I belong. He belongs in Christmas town.
The costumes in the show, I think, are stunning. I love them. We go from the craziness of the elves in the North Pole through to a sort of almost 50s feel.
I can stay here!
Yes, just for tonight.
I absolutely adore these costumes. I feel there's a little bit of Maria von Trapp there.
She actually doesn't have to change a wig, whereas virtually everybody else I have in this show changes wigs 3, 4. There's one who actually has 5 wig changes.
My goodness.
So there's an awful lot going on backstage as well as out front.
Yeah.
We wanted this wig to sort of embody all of those glamorous women of the 50s, 60s and 70s, because we never really set this show in any particular period. And as far as the hair is concerned, I just did what I wanted, and I wanted her to look like this.
I wear this in Macy's with a little hat on top that gets pinned into my head, like, quite a lot, so it does not move anywhere. And everyone was laughing, saying, looks like you're the manager's favourite because your outfit looks more expensive than everyone else's. I was like, oh yeah, and I'm the only one that wears a skirt.
Enjoying the view?
Yes.
My character's a bit naughty, I guess.
I wanted that sort of grey, cold look for Manhattan. So everybody's in greys, blacks. There's a hint of red here and there that gives me, or is what I wanted to say, was these people still have a little bit of Christmas spirit.
Everything is heightened, it's fantastical and slightly cartoony.
Excuse me. I'm here to see Walter Hobbs. I'm Buddy the Elf.
Buddy the Elf? What a riot! You look hilarious.
So this I have affectionately called Mabel, and she's my padding that I wear as Deb, and was something David and I, the director, had a long discussion about before we started. Because of all of the references in the script to Weight Watchers and buttered rum and vodka and things, I said to him, what do you think we should do? And he said, well, let's get together with the costume department and see if we can come up with something that still looks realistic for me, but works, and I think it works a treat. Mabel is now a part of me. Here's the back of Mabel.
This is my favourite outfit. This is my finale outfit, but everything sticks to it because it's like sequins and lots of sparkly nice bits and faux fur and it's just gorgeous. I love it. And I love these tights. These tights are just amazing. I know that's really simple, but I love my tights.
But the costumes also present challenges.
Even putting my coat on in the first scene when I come out on my bed, if I miss the arm,
it's clear that I belong in Christmas Town.
Or I miss the buttons or something, oh my God, I've had nightmares.
And with over 100 characters and fewer than 30 cast members, costume changes have to be super fast.
One of the things about music is people expect to see quick changes, they expect to see interesting costumes, they expect all of this stuff to happen pretty much before their eyes. You're not cutting away as you would with a film. So it leads to interesting tangles at the side of stage, sort of where you're getting completely changed out of one costume into another inside a minute. But you have dresses, you have people there, sort of you get used to it. Sometimes you do less, you let the dressers do it. Literally, kind of, they take clothes off you, they put clothes back on you, you walk back on stage. And it's part of being in a musical, it's part of the fun.
Quite often, if you watch the show from the wings or backstage, there's as much of a show going on back there as there is on the front. The wardrobe, wigs, because there's wig changes, costume changes, sometimes mic changes, the whole thing within 40 seconds.
Oh, is this split? This is split? You want to put needle and thread in there?
It's all the backstage staff and the wardrobe people and the dressers and the wig mistresses that have to do the quick changes that make the show seem seamless.
There's not many shows go by where there isn't at least 3 or 4 big repairs where literally, trousers rip in two and so they come off. We sewing machine it really quickly, get them back on, and then the second they come off, then we repair it properly for either the next scene or the next show, depending on what it is.
Just don't panic, you just do it.
If you panic, it takes longer.
Does that feel all right?
Much better.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you.
I have a very quick change towards the end, which the outfit, all I can say is it's just like Winter Barbie. It's just every little girl's dream outfit. Of course, I'm not a grown-up because I'm in musical theatre and you can't be a grown-up to...
We're not allowed to be grown up in
absolutely
musical theatre.
not.
We have to live for the fantasy.
Yes.
I hope he doesn't get wise.
Well, if he hasn't figured out by now that he's a human, I don't think he ever will.
There's just so many layers, that's the problem with my costume. It's actually got to look authentically warm. I'm from the North Pole. So they couldn't just make me a nice, cool outfit. And I'm underdressing so many of the quick changes.
Come on, we'll go tell Francisco the doorman to flag as a cab.
Francisco? Oh, that's a funny name to say. Francis.
At one point, he leaves stage as an elf. 40 seconds later, he has to step from a lift in a business suit.
Jacket off and hat off, which causes a wig problem a little bit. But he also has to do it on scenery that is moving at the same time with a wig person and a dresser and 3 actors behind in a very, very, very confined space.
He's a... Uh-oh, the Iceman cometh.
It is a little bit mad. Somehow, knock wood, we've made it every night.
There's a whole host of things that just keep me really warm and make it harder.
Perhaps the most spectacular quick change happens barely off the stage.
How lovely to see you. Can I get you a hot buttered rum? Maybe a double?
No.
The baddie you know, who controls the book company, comes in one scene and threatens to sack everybody.
And you're nobody.
Then has to reappear as Santa Claus within the next minute. And that quick change, I don't think people realise it's the same actor.
We have, I think there's about 6 dressers around Santa at one point.
There's no time to take that 3-piece suit off, so all this has to go on top, and that pretty much happened until the end of the show, and even when I change into the white for the finale. Well, that's worn then, because I've got the 3-piece suit plus all of this. It's a great outfit, isn't it?
If you believe in Santa Claus, then I believe in Santa Claus.
That's good enough for me. Walter, you're off the naughty list.
Thanks, man.
The storyline calls for stage sets of equal ingenuity and flair.
People want to see spectacular, you know, and in order to do that, you need the big sets, you need the glitz, you need the lights, and in order to do that, you need a fantastic crew. And, you know, you'll be going into the wings and seeing it, they're busy and furiously changing sets and furiously changing big moving trucks and moving parts and smoke and trees and candy canes and all of this. And because it all works, it's just a spectacular, it's a feast for the eyes.
That's partly because, unlike many productions, this one has a 3D set.
It's kind of an amazing set, especially for a tour. This set is very, very three-dimensional with giant pieces that move on and off. We have a fairly heavily automated set. There are 2 tracks that have automation, and then there's 2 other tracks that don't.
The best bit for me was moving from outside Macy's in Manhattan, in Fifth Avenue, and it transforms to the inside of Macy's in the toy department in front of your very eyes, and it really works spectacularly. Part of that is the scene change, the integration of the dancers and how the actors move in front of that. That's really important because you never want to look at a static stage. Everything must keep moving.
That's not the North Pole.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I think everything is tangible. It's all representational set. It is like seeing it actually recreated on stage.
So you feel like it's Christmas all the time.
Yeah.
The huge video wall is an additional layer of magic.
When I was approached to do it and given the script for the first time, the scary thing is that what you realize is that it's a travelogue. It never stops moving, that you're never in one location for more than a very short period of time.
With Central Park, with Manhattan, Tavern on the Green, the Empire State Building, I wanted something that wasn't cartoon, that wasn't pantomime, but that wasn't quite real.
We were lucky enough to come up with a vast video screen. So everything else was three-dimensional in front of that and moved like clockwork.
The big video element in our show, I think it works best on the journey from the North Pole to New York. It's a very difficult thing to stage in a musical, but I really think the video supports that well.
The lighting in Elf is so important. If you look up in the grid, there's like hundreds of lights up there.
There's often moments in the show where we do need to close the space down and make a smaller moment. Most of the time we use that technique when Jovi and Buddy are on their own together.
Jovi, I feel really bad about this. Sick to the stomach, like I swallowed a gazillion juicy fruits.
When we have a full cast on stage doing a huge routine, we obviously use our whole lighting rig, and we do lots of colour snaps, lots of changes, and it really supports a big number.
But the most special effect of all is saved for the climax of the show. And just how they achieve it is a tightly guarded secret.
At the end of the show, Santa's sleigh flies. It flies out, it breaks the fourth wall, as you will, that breaks the proscenium. It flies out over the first few rows of the audience, and it snows in the auditorium.
We fill the auditorium with tiny specks of light that create a huge snowstorm.
Anybody that sees the show, from a 2-year-old to an 8-year-old, you will believe.
it is very, very special to see those children pointing at Santa in the air. It's quite fantastic.
It becomes its own round snow globe with Santa's sleigh flying through the middle of it.
The joy for me is there was a little kid, I remember on one of the previews in front of me, and he goes, "Mummy, Mummy, it's snowing, it's magic." I'm getting all emotional now. How pathetic is that? But it is that joy that you see from a little kid. And yeah, I know how it's done. I know what's going on. But, you know, that's what we do in theatre, isn't it? It's smoke and mirrors. It's magic.
Coming up, the secrets of protecting a singing voice under relentless pressure. And the favourite scenes which make the magic happen. At the Lowry in Salford, Elf the musical has been running for 6 weeks, and the pressure of 8 weekly shows is taking its toll on the actors.
My voice feels tired today, which is annoying.
Betty is singing almost from beginning to end. I mean, we're lucky we have Ben, whose voice is amazingly strong and seems to never quite falter. I'm sure that sometimes he gets tired, but he never lets it show.
Every morning I wake up and go, I've got no voice, can't do it, I'm going to be off. And then somehow, after I have some porridge or something, my voice just comes back. We call it Dr. Theatre. As soon as you get out there, you've got to just trust that it'll all happen.
It's not just the singing that's a strain.
Actually, the most physical thing about this job is all the shouting. This is, it's Chinese throat syrup. My voice doctor told me not to use it. You're not supposed to use it, but sometimes if I'm a bit phlegmy or I'm feeling like I want to do this, it kind of just coats your throat. It's called papa quack. Santa! And all that kind of crazy sound. We never get taught to do that. You know, you get taught to sing. I can sing like for days, my voice will not go. I know how to use my instrument as a singer, but with all the shouting and all the physicality in the voice even and the colour, just for his text, it is a really hard show for that. Yeah, singing's actually easier than all the speaking.
Santa! Oh my gosh!
And then there's the dancing.
There's a saying in show business, triple threat. You have to be a triple threat artiste in order to achieve things. You have to be able to act, sing and dance.
It's a vocally strenuous show. It's also a dancing strenuous show, so we need true triple threats through the entire ensemble. They all have speaking parts, they all have big singing parts, and they all have to be able to dance. So we've taken a lot of care in all the casting to make sure that we get that kind of caliber of performer.
I would say of the three mediums of, you know, singing, dancing, and acting, that dancing is definitely the most challenging for me. There's a lot of comedy in Deb. At first, when I was panicking about the small dance sections I would have to do, I realized that I could be Deb. You know, I don't suddenly have to be this, like, amazing dancer. I can be Deb that does the dancing. So that's made it a lot more fun for me, too.
I can't claim to be a natural dancer. I normally have to kind of, the choreography takes me a little bit more time to learn rather than our amazing ensemble who can learn things in 2 minutes and kind of go, they can tap, they can dance, they can sing, they can act, they can do all of them. I'm just in awe of them all.
Each and every one of them is a star performer in their own right, and we're just very lucky that, you know, they play elves, they play grown-ups, they are the magic dust on our show.
And one step up from dancing, rollerblading.
The only thing we haven't got in this show, I think, we've got kids, animals. We've got everything else. We've got skating, the whole thing. It's a melting pot of wondrousness. Rollerblading in the show. Buddy and Jovi, they're not supposed to be very good anyway.
We did have rollerblade lessons, yeah. I couldn't like do it at all before. I mean, I still can't stop, which is why my dresser like stops me, literally gets hold of me off stage. I can go around in the circle and fall over, which I do on stage, and that's about it. Could never be in Starlight Express.
It all makes for variety, and everyone has their favourite scenes.
I think my favourite musical numbers have got to be the big company numbers, because they're just full of pure joy.
My favourite number, my favourite scene, story of Buddy the Elf.
It's the story of Buddy the Elf.
I think the audience's favourite is always going to be It's the story of Buddy the Elf. It's the story of
Buddy the Elf. It's the story of, and the words will fly right off of the shelf. It's the story of Buddy the Elf.
I love the Santa Claus dance. Nobody cares about Santas. I think that's just a great, great number.
For me, I get very excited because I'm standing in the lift at the publishing offices as Ben is singing Buddy and the world's greatest dad.
Of Buddy and the world's greatest dad.
My favorite bit of the show is the second scene that I get to do with Buddy when he comes into the office and he's dressed like his dad. And we get to do the number just like him together, which then leads into the end bit about the chocolate monster, which is just, I think, my favorite bit of the show, for me.
I'm very lucky in that each department I have, whether it be lighting, the set design, costume, the sound, we all work together because we work towards that end goal of making the show as magical as we can.
The joy that I get out of bringing something so complex and challenging to the stage is simply by closing my eyes and listening to the audience.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really good the way they hold their voice for that long. Yeah. It was really good, and the graphics and the lighting was amazing.
There's nothing like a live audience. You know if you've done well or not instantly the way an audience cheers.
You know, the first couple of shows I remember seeing when the audience all stand up and things like this, and we've still got a song to sing. It's very, very difficult to get through that slight choke in the voice.
It takes you to a different world and you can just forget everything. It's really, yeah, it's magical.
I think it's really, really, really good.
The magic that Elf brings is having faith and truth and believing in something.
For the 3 times I've done it, it has made my Christmas better, Buddy the Elf. It really has. It's made my Christmas much more enjoyable, seeing the smiles on people's faces, seeing the audiences go away. It has transformed this Grinch into liking Christmas again, that's for sure. Yeah.
It's just so much fun to do because you get to bow and everyone just cheers for you, and it makes you feel really happy and really special.
It just always puts it in context for me. I do feel so lucky. There's never a moment where you come off stage and think that, you know, I can't wait to get home. It's amazing what we do. It's not really a job. It's hard work, but it's never a chore.
Merry Christmas!
Christmas and lots of love from everyone here at Elf. Mwah! Have the best Christmas ever.
From Santa's little helpers to pooches who need a little help this Christmas. It's a festive special kicking off the whole stack of dog rescuers with Alan Davis next. That's tonight's Best of 2017 pick, so keep it my 5.